Using these 3-minute daily habits for energy and longevity. I am 84 years old and I feel like I am 50 again every single day. Age. If you spend just 3 minutes a day, is it really feasible to feel as though you are 30 years younger? If you are viewing this, there is a good possibility that you have experienced days in which your body just does not move as quickly as it used to. You are experiencing pain in your knees. Your equilibrium is unstable, and even the simplest of activities, such as climbing stairs or carrying groceries, feel more difficult than they did a few years ago. You are not the only one. Nevertheless, what if I told you that even if you are 84 years old, you may still have the sensation of being 50 years old by simply altering a few habits that need absolutely no time at all? I'm going to share with you in this video 5 effective daily habits that are not only easy to implement but also have the potential to practically turn back the clock on how your body feels. These are not tricks, nor are they elaborate routines. Neither of those things are gimmicks. The duration of each one is just 3 minutes or less, and they have assisted a great number of individuals, including yourself, in regaining their power, energy, and confidence in their bodies. Now, before we get started, I want to make it perfectly clear that this is not a miracle cure. However, if you continue to follow these 5 stages, you will most likely begin to observe improvements that you did not believe were conceivable while you were at this age. Perhaps it's the fact that you wake up with less stiffness. It might be walking for a longer period of time without getting winded. It could also be that it's simply a matter of regaining that sensation of control over your own body, which is something that many people experience as they increase in age. The reality is that pursuing youth is not the same thing as feeling youthful. It's about making sure you keep your function, your vitality, and your joy in the years that are still ahead of you. And what is the most exciting part? It is not necessary for you to have a subscription to a gym, expensive supplements, or a personal trainer to be successful. All you need is dedication, perseverance, and 3 minutes per day. Because each stage builds on the previous one, I encourage you to stick with me until the very end. It is possible that by the time we reach the 5th one, you will have come to the realization that becoming older does not necessarily entail declining in strength. There is a possibility that you are even feeling better than you did 20 years ago. It's time to get started. The morning joint activation comes in first place. It is not because their muscles are weak that older folks sometimes experience stiffness in the morning. Rather, it is because their joints have not been woken up. This is one of the most common explanations. When you lie down for long periods of time throughout the night, the fluid that surrounds your joints begins to slowly thicken, taking on the consistency of syrup on a chilly morning. It should come as no surprise that your knees creak or that your back becomes tight when you get out of bed without first warming up your body in a gentle manner. What's the answer? Your hips, knees, ankles, and shoulders should be the primary emphasis of your morning movement routine, which should last for 3 minutes and focus on your major joints. Yoga mats and other equipment are not required. You need only sit on the edge of your bed and slowly rotate your ankles 10 times in each direction. After that, rotate your knees, and then gradually twist your body from side to side. Finally, end the exercise by rolling your shoulders and turning your neck. What you are doing here is gently circulating synovial fluid, which helps your joints slide easily and lessens that rusty grinding feeling that so many of us experience when we wake up. Despite the fact that it can appear to be too basic to be significant, this delicate preparation is the difference between stumbling out of bed and walking into your day with absolute assurance. There is even another advantage that individuals do not always take into consideration. Your brain receives a signal from these motions that conveys the message that it is time to turn on. It is essential for those who are in their 60s, 70s, and even older to have this. Your mood, your coordination, and your balance are all connected to the way in which your neurological system is activated after you have rested. You may improve your mental clarity and reduce the fog that might linger in the early hours of the morning by stimulating your joints and engaging your core. even if it's just a little bit. I was acquainted with a man named Edward who was 81 years old and beginning each day in the same manner. As a result of this practice, he required assistance in order to even get out of bed. Following a period of 2 weeks, he was no longer able to stand on his own. For the second time, he was preparing breakfast for his wife. And that is the power that these 3 minutes of mindfulness have. However, the objective is not to touch your toes, with the goal of reducing the risk of falling or straining your joints. The objective is to feel stable while standing. Every fall that is avoided is equivalent to a year of independence safeguarded. It is important to keep this in mind if you have been avoiding physical activity in the morning because you believe it is too old or because it seems exhausting. The body you have is a tool. There is no damage caused by its use. Mistreatment causes it to break. The engine needs oil, and a few minutes of motion is like its own oil. A flawless operation of everything is maintained by it. Second, take a few slow, deep breaths to reset. There are a lot of people who are unaware of the fact that energy can come from more than just eating or sleeping. This is a byproduct of oxygen. Additionally, the manner in which you breathe in the initial few minutes after waking up can either help you recharge your battery or cause it to drain before the day even sets in. The majority of us unwittingly habitually engage in shallow breathing, which sends a signal to the body that it is under stress even when we are not actually experiencing stress. This is the reason why beginning your day with a straightforward workout that involves deep breathing can radically transform how you feel. 3 minutes of steady, purposeful breathing, preferably with your eyes closed, feet flat on the floor, and hands resting on your belly, can reduce cortisol levels, regulate heart rate, and relax the nervous system. This is especially beneficial for people who are experiencing stress. Before the chaos of the day begins, it helps you to center yourself. My acquaintance Linda, who was 77 years old at the time, used to experience her heart racing every morning when she woke up. Her physician performed a wide range of tests, but the results were all within the usual range. It turned out that her anxiousness was the source of her heartbreak. The moment she started performing this 3-minute breathing reset every morning, she told me that her mornings were completely different from what they had been before. She did not have the impression that she was chasing the day, rather, she had the impression that she was leading it. What a significant change that is. There is no need to exert any kind of pressure here. Refrain from attempting to hold your breath or breathe in a specific rhythm, as this would be an example of a strict approach. Simply take a leisurely breath in with your nose, and then take an even slower breath out through your mouth out. Imagine that each breath is a gentle release of tension, the activation of the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the component of your neurological system that tells you that you are safe, calm, and in control, is what this does. It is extremely crucial for people who are elderly to engage in this practice. Stress hormones have the ability to make our bodies more sensitive as we get older. An increase in adrenaline can be triggered by something as simple as a phone call, a recollection, or even quiet. The practice of breathing, on the other hand, allows you to create space between the stimulus and the response. Your body learns that it does not have to react to everything immediately when you teach it this principle. The true source of power is in the ability to maintain control and composure. Don't just disregard this because it seems like it would be too simple. In point of fact, the habits that we tend to miss are in some cases the simplest ones. Nevertheless, the fact that something is straightforward does not indicate that it is not profound. I guarantee that you will become aware of something if you make it a habit to practice deep breathing for only 3 minutes every morning. It's possible that your mornings won't feel like a race on the first day, but by the 5th day, you might find that they start to feel more like a rhythm. And as time passes, that rhythm will eventually become your strength. I would appreciate it if you could use the second comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. The leg activation regimen comes in at number 3. If you wake up your legs in the proper way, there is a certain something that is almost magical about it. The vast majority of individuals start their day by going straight from bed to the kitchen, with very little time to stretch or move around. It's important to note, however, that your legs are comparable to the roots of a tree. Whenever they are rigid, constricting, or feeble, everything else in the upper body seems out of whack. It has occurred to me on multiple occasions. People often battle with issues such as low energy, posture, or balance. Furthermore, it can be traced back to the manner in which they treat their legs in the initial few minutes of the day. A gentleman by the name of Walter, who was 64 years old, related his experience to me. In the past, when he got out of bed, he would have the sensation that his legs were heavy weights. He put the blame on elderly age, arthritis, and even worn-out shoes. But then he started a 3-minute activation program every morning, while holding onto a chair. It consisted of a combination of seated marches, gentle toe rises, and some gradual standing calf lifts. It was not a particularly fancy exercise. Over the course of a few weeks, he saw an improvement in his balance, and he reported that he felt as though his legs were eager to move once more. A transformation of this nature is not brought about by supplements or technological devices. Habit is the source of this. There is no requirement that this routine be overly strenuous or uncomfortable. Indeed, if that is the case, you are doing it incorrectly. Both control and connection are what you are looking for. Become aware of the interaction between your feet and the earth. Feel the muscles in your calves contracting, in order to remind your thighs that you are still needed today. You need allow them to engage just enough. Therefore, it is essential that your brain and your legs communicate with one another. This is similar to turning on a switch. In addition, the earlier you turn on that switch, the earlier you will feel for the remainder of the day. Why is this such a successful strategy? Because blood flow is equivalent to energy. The moment your leg muscles contract, they begin to draw fresh blood through your lower body. This not only helps to maintain your strength, but it also helps to maintain the health of your joints, the communication between your nerves, and even circulation to your feet. This straightforward routine in the morning can make a significant impact for elderly people who are concerned about foot pain, numbness, or swelling in their feet. It establishes the mood. It communicates to your body that we are strong, that we are rooted, and that we are prepared. People often ask me what workout is best for aging legs. My response is always the same, and it is the one that you will actually carry out. There is no requirement for you to have gym equipment, loud music, or a personal trainer who is yelling at you. In just 3 minutes, you will need to maintain consistency. When we perform a few attentive movements first thing in the morning, we can strengthen our muscles, improve our balance, and most significantly, we can prevent the kind of gradual decline that occurs when we are just not paying attention. Because having strong legs is not about self-importance. All of these things are about freedom. The freedom to stroll anywhere you choose. The freedom to carry your own groceries. The ability to get up from a chair without having to struggle. And the freedom to live dignity. Consequently, if you haven't been giving your legs a wake-up call as of late, perhaps the best time to do so is tomorrow morning. For this, a flawless plan is not required. Just get started, each and every day, 3 minutes. In those steps, you will be shocked to find a great deal of power waiting for you. Anti-inflammatory breakfast option, which comes in at number 4. As we become older, inflammation is one of the most significant hidden enemies of our legs. This does not yell out. In certain cases, it may not immediately manifest itself as pain, however, it is working in the background, causing your joints to get tight, your muscles to become weaker, and your steps to lose energy. This is what is surprising, by the way, that inflammation begins not in your knees or hips, but rather right on your plate. particularly during the first meal of the day. This is especially true for morning meals. A good breakfast will set your rhythm. When you eat a breakfast that contains processed sweets, refined carbohydrates, or oils that cause inflammation, you are sending a message to your body that it should get ready for a day that is slow and painful. However, the good news is that even if you only change one component of your breakfast, it can have a significant influence. These are the kinds of foods that have anti-inflammatory properties, such as wild blueberries. Although they may appear to be uncomplicated, these tiny berries hold a significant amount of power. They include a multitude of chemicals that alleviate inflammation and minimize oxidative stress throughout the body, particularly in the lower joints. I am reminded of a lady whose name was Elaine. She told me that her knees would swell up by the evening, despite the fact that she was 77 years old and continued to walk every morning. It seemed to her that her age was simply catching up with her. But when we looked at her meals, I discovered that she began her day with sweetened yogurt and white bread. I was surprised to see that she was doing that. She substituted that with a bowl of oats that was topped with cinnamon, wild blueberries, and a few walnuts. In a few weeks, she reported that she was able to walk twice as far without experiencing the persistent pain in her legs. That was not a miracle. It was a change in her approach to her body as well as a scientific discovery. The fact that this kind of food is not difficult to locate is also a beautiful thing. In most grocery stores, you may purchase wild blueberries that have been frozen. There is no requirement that they be organic or elegant. It is simply a matter of consistency. If you give your body the things it needs to battle inflammation, it will respond with a powerful response, not only in how you feel, but also in how you move, how you stand, and even how quickly you recover after spending a long day standing. Moreover, it is not limited to blueberries. Turmeric, chia seeds, and dark leafy greens are some additional effective possibilities that can be utilized. Everything that can be added to breakfast in a couple of minutes or less. Certain individuals prepare a smoothie. Some people want a bowl that is warm. To a much greater extent than the strategy, the habit is actually what matters. Because, over the course of time, these very minor morning decisions lay the groundwork for legs that are robust, flexible, and trustworthy. I would appreciate it if you could use the fourth comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. The fifth fish is a cold water species that is extremely rich. One of the most astonishing things about nature is the way it provides us with everything we require, provided that we are aware of where to look. In addition, the ocean is home to one of the best-kept secrets when it comes to maintaining the strength, stability, and readiness of your legs to facilitate movement. Fish from cold water, such as salmon, mackerel, and sardines, are more than just a source of sustenance. Particularly as we get older, they are a form of treatment that can help your muscles, joints, and circulation. A significant number of elderly people experience a sense of heaviness or weakness in their legs. And this sensation is not solely attributable to the loss of muscular mass. Inflammation of the blood vessels is this condition. The first part of your body to become aware of a decrease in circulation is definitely your legs. This is due to the fact that they are the furthest distant from your heart. In contrast, the omega-3 fatty acids that are present in these cold water fish assist to relax the blood vessels and reduce inflammation, which in turn makes it possible for more oxygen-rich blood to reach your lower limbs. I once knew a man who was 82 years old and his name was Walter. When I asked him how he felt about climbing stairs, he informed me that he felt as though his legs were made of sandbags. His weight was not excessive. He was not suffering from arthritis. On the other hand, his physician informed him that his circulation was slow, When Walter began including salmon into his diet twice a week, when it was grilled to a light brown and served with veggies, he did not anticipate much success. On the other hand, he called me 2 months later and said something that has stayed with me ever since. Because of what he stated, my legs are no longer arguing with me. They work together. Not only the fish was the problem. This was due to the consistent supply of omega-3 fatty acids, which helped his muscles recuperate and calmed the inflammation that was occurring in his blood vessels. And even for individuals who do not consume fish, there are still methods to reap the benefits of eating fish. A smart alternative is to take omega-3 supplements, particularly those that are derived from oil extracted from algae. In the end, what is most important is quality and consistency. The inclusion of sardines, which are small fish that are inexpensive and contained in cans, can work miracles if they are included on a regular basis. And don't forget that the things you leave out are also important. Walter also reduced his consumption of processed deli slices and red meat, both of which are items that cause the blood to become thicker and restrict circulation. There is more to it than simply adding the positive. It's all about diminishing the negative. Lastly, some thoughts. So, what have you found to be the most noteworthy today? Was it the ability of beets to boost circulation? Or was it the unexpected effect that only a few spoonfuls of chia seeds had on the strength of joints and the vitality they provided? Perhaps it was the discovery of how turmeric combats inflammation that is not visible. Even when we are in our 70s and 80s, it is important to remember that even the smallest, most consistent steps can lead to significant changes. It is not necessary for you to completely transform your life. You do not require sophisticated regimens or costly substances to achieve your goals. With the appropriate nutrients and only a few minutes of your time each day, you can help your legs feel stronger, more stable, and more alive. Never in your life should you pursue youth. It's about showing respect for your body and providing it with the kind of nourishment it requires to keep functioning. Mostly due to the fact that age is not a factor in determining strength. It is habits that do, and as you have a greater sense of self-assurance in your actions, everything changes. It is more probable that you will stroll outside, that you will stand higher, and that after rising from a chair, you will feel more stable. This feeling of independence, in which you do not have to worry about your balance or about experiencing stiffness whenever you move, is irreplaceable. Strength is not the only factor to consider. It's the liberation of the emotions. This is the challenge that I have for you. Choose a food from the list of foods that we discussed today. Make it a part of your day, no matter how minor. In addition, keep an eye on what transpires over the following few weeks. Not only should you not take my word for it, put yourself in that position. And when you do, make sure to come back and explain it to us. We appreciate you being here with us today. It would be wonderful if you could get in touch with us. Please leave a comment below and tell us about one item you discovered today and how you intend to put it to use in your life right now. We place a high value on your opinions, so please do not be reluctant to share them with us. Our inspiration and encouragement are greatly increased as a result of reading your remarks. I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it to be informative and enjoyable. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we hope to see you in the future video.